You already know what's next. TV on blast, turn it down, turn it down. Want it to clash with my body, make me now. Woo! I know you're hearing it. You got me moaning now. I got a secret that I wanna show you. Oh, I got a secret, I'ma drop it to the floor. Oh, I'm teasing. I'm waiting long enough. Welcome to the show. This is Truth Serum, episode number 3. My name is Palesa, and today we are talking about sex. That's why I had such a sexy song happening. We're gonna have a nice conversation today. So get your drink. I have my drink. I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds, a minute. Go get your drink. Here's mine. There's some cranberry in there. I won't tell you what else there is. Sex. I have a few questions. First of all, at what age did your parents have the sex talk with you? Answer me that in the comments. Also, how was it? Like, was it awkward? What did they say? Did they tell you about the birds and the bees? And I just have to be honest here. That birds and the bees story, I don't know that story. Can somebody please help me? I don't know what happened to that story. I always heard it like in movies and whatnot. And they were like, the birds and the bees. And they always ended there. I don't know what happened to that story because my parents are black. And I don't have time for birds and the bees. What's the correlation? What happened in the birds and the bees? I'm super confused. But anyway, I want to know when you had your sex talk. Sex talk with your parents. And how was the experience? For me, it was super awkward because I was super old and I knew everything there is to know about sex. So, I don't know. I'm tipsy. As a girl child, a lot of the times parents confuse the boy talk with the sex talk, right? So for me, for example, when I was 10 years old, I had my first crush. I think actually it was like my second, but this one was very serious. I was deep in the feelings. I was 10 years old, guys. Because I think I've always been a writer, I was always able to express my emotions through writing. So one day I remembered for you, like in a very deep way. I was 10 years old, like I said. So I decided I'm gonna write a fake letter just so that I can let my emotions out. So I wrote a letter to him, saying, hey, I have these deep feelings. I'm feeling you. When you walk into a room, suddenly my body is warm. At 10 years old. So I wrote that letter and somehow my mom found it. And don't get me wrong, my mom is a very good person. She's not a toxic person. My mom is, what I appreciate about her is that she's unlearning a lot of things, She's not raising me the same way her parents raised her. You know how it is, traditionally. There's a lot of things that parents do, but my mom is changing a lot of things. So at the time, it was still in the early stages. So she found that letter and she was freaking out. And you know how black parents are. She was like, what's in when I'm hey, talking about a crush. What's a crush? You can't have feelings for a boy. Boys are this, boys are that, boys are this. So in my opinion, that was the boy talk. And I think in a lot of cases, black parents, or maybe just parents in general, I don't know what the white people do because I'm not white, or the other races, they kind of confuse the boy talk with the sex talk. So that was the conversation with my mom. She was like, what do you know about boys? You can't be having feelings for boys. Boys only want one thing. I mean, I was freaking 10 years old. I didn't know what that one thing was that they wanted. So that was the boy talk that I had from when I was 10 years old. I'm losing track of what I'm saying. Yeah, that was the boy talk that I had, right? But then my mom, who is an amazing woman, by the way, waited until I was like 32. Wow, not 32. 22. Who waited until I was 22 years old to have the sex talk with me. That was the most awkward day of my life because it was just awkward. You know, my mom is a pastor now. My mom, she hasn't been a pastor for so long. It's been... Oh, actually, she got ordained this year as a pastor. But so we had this conversation when I was 22 years old. And it was so awkward. The way she was having it was like in a kind of a defeated way. Like, okay, you're probably already having sex now, so let me just tell you what you gotta do. I wanted a hole to just jump in. And then I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me whole because... Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to this. There's not a lot of conversations that you can have with your parents in a comfortable environment. So we had that sex talk. And basically what she was telling me, it was basically like, you know, well, you're probably having sex now already. So this is what you gotta do. You know what I mean? She was like, ungavumeli nje umuntu avele athi angifuni condom. I wanted to die. I swear I wanted to die. She's like, ayiko nje, you know? And yeah, I mean, I think it was a good sex talk. But it was like a bit late in life. Like, I'm old now. I'm old. And I was a little bit hurt that she's assuming that I'm having sex at 22 years old. I mean, why did she assume that? I was such a chilled kid, you know. But yeah, she was just telling me that yeah, these are the things you need to do to protect yourself. I think that it was a good talk. It was very like well informed, you know what I mean. She made sure that she covered the fact that you know, there's pregnancy, but there's also STDs, and there's also this and this and this and this and that. So yeah, she covered that. She made sure that I know. But it was kind of late. Like, I already know that. But yeah, she spoke about using protection to make sure that I don't fall pregnant, and also that I don't get an STD, and also making sure that my partner and myself are tested. You know what I mean? I did think it was a bit uncomfortable because she is a pastor now, and I was like, oh my God, are you telling me to just protect myself during sex? Are you telling me that it's okay to have sex? But anyway, okay. The thing that inspired this video was when I saw a video on YouTube where parents were trying to explain what sex is to their young children, right? And a lot of them said something like, do you know where babies come from? You already know that it's an American video. Do you know where babies come from? And I don't know, that didn't sit well with me, because sex is not just for making babies. Maybe back in the old days it was for making babies, but now it's different. You know what I'm saying? And we can't run away from that. Sex is for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? So what are parents doing now in this day? What are they doing? Are they telling their kids that sex is for pleasure? Or when you're trying to have the sex talk, do you say that sex is for... do you say when you want to have the... when you want to have the sex talk, do you say... do you know where babies come from? Or what? Like, what do you say? Like, if there are parents watching this, I don't know, but if you are watching this, I don't know, like, what do you say, or what do you plan on saying to your children? And when is even the right time to talk about this? I'm panicking about this thing as if I have kids. I don't. I'm just wondering, like, what's supposed to happen. The point I'm trying to make here is, first of all, sex talk is important. I think at an earlier time in life, the tricky thing with teenagers is that you never really know if they will listen to you. When I think about it, if my mom had the sex talk with me when I was maybe 14 or 15, I probably wouldn't have listened to her, because at that time, the best thing to do would have been to not have sex at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, now that I'm older, I'm like, I wish I was, I didn't, I wish I waited. You know what I'm saying? But it's tricky, teenagers don't always listen to you. And I guess that's just what it is in life. But that was the first, what was the first point? When is the right time to actually have these conversations about sex? I remember somebody posted on Twitter, should we put teenagers on contraceptives? Should we put teenagers on contraceptives? And it was like, that's an interesting question, you know what I'm saying? But, like, you can't just force somebody to be on contraceptives, because that shit does things to you that are impossible to deal with. But anyway, that's like a whole nother story. What I'm trying to say is, when is the right time to have the sex talk? And, like, would it really help if you have the sex talk in teenage years? Because that's like flooding someone with information if they don't know it already, because schools do that. They talk about the sex. So, like, when is the right time to actually have the sex talk with somebody? And what are the things, like, what do you even say? Like, it's so awkward. With my mom, I wanted to die. Like, I wanted to just faint. In my opinion, I feel that it's important to have the sex talk as soon as possible with your children, if there are parents watching this, and as if you are a teenager watching this, just do your research before you actually go and have the sex. Don't just jump into that stuff. It's good, but you know what I mean. Oh, did I mention this point? Do parents talk about sex talk as when? Wait, actually, I blah 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 blah. What am I saying? Parents talk about have sex as, where do babies come from? And do parents ever tell their kids that sex can also be for pleasure, because it's pleasure? So yeah, that's my other question. So is it okay to tell a teenager child, a teen child, that sex can also be for pleasure, more than just for making babies? Because that's all I saw, when I was doing my research. But anyway, please, like, tell me. First of all, tell me if you ever had the sex talk conversation. Tell me what the hell the birds and the bees conversation is, because I don't know the conclusion of that. I have no idea what happens in that story. And then tell me, when exactly is the right time to have the sex talk with your child, or whatever, the person that you're taking care of, or whatever, you know what I mean? Tell me if your parents did that with you, or if your guardian did that with you, or whatever. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your comments and what you're saying about how your sex talk went for you. You heard how mine went. But tell me what you think. Tell me your answers. Tell me how the things go. Subscribe, like, and comment. I am looking forward to hearing from you. Bye. I'm so tipsy.